All right, so the people who don't like empty are going to say, well, we can't pass pro, we can't protect it. I don't have time for all the arguments against that right now, but my argument would be, first off, most of the time, your back or tight end or somebody's not protecting anyway. They're not any good at it. And so I would prefer to give them an empty look and make them only line up a couple ways, and we're prepared for those hots, and then we just absorb it and we're ready for it, and we go from there. Truthfully, we very rarely had issues with pass pro because we ran the ball so well. Both sides ran the middle. We threw it deep, threw it short. It was really a gamble for the defense to blitz. So we really got drop 8, rush 3, drop 7, rush 4. That was the most thing we got. But if they brought 6, obviously you're going to have a problem. So we're going to talk about pass pro and hots here. So if they give us this basic look that we've been drawing up, this 50 look, then, the lineman got these 5 in the box. That's pretty easy. Now, this is not an O-line period, so I'm not going to show you exactly. I'm not going to talk about technique necessarily, but we're just taking on these 5. These 5 got these 5 maintaining. The ball should come out fairly quick. We're not asking these linemen to stay with them forever. Keep their feet hot, widen their base, and make it work. Now, if a guy showed, we would make a call, and these 2 would take these 2, and now this guy was hot. So normally the outside backers would be hot, lineman had the box. If he showed, we'd swap it. If they showed on both sides, then I guess we'd have to swap it on both sides and both of them be hot. And that can be a problem. If if this guy shows, we get ready to kick it and then he bails out, we got to be able to revert back if at all possible. And we see more of that now as defense coaches are getting better. But in the traditional look, if he shows and he comes, we're going to take this, and now they bring this guy too. Yeah, we don't have anybody for him, but he's in the quarterback's face. Quarterback's got to see that, hit the inside go immediately on that if it's hot. We'll talk about how in a second. Or the outlet, the check down is the outside goes, the phase. Throw it as far as you can, outside the numbers, to the side you can get to, preferably the boundary probably, and make it happen. So he takes his drop. This guy comes. He's already come. They're there. They let him come. He sees him. He maybe slides and throws the fake. And we practice that. You got to practice the bad scenarios too. But most of the time, we didn't get that. Most of the time, they're so worried about verticals that if they brought this guy, they cheated him out. And, we just picked it up. Still 4 or 5 pressure. No big deal. They should not have been able to bring under 6 and us had a problem. But occasionally they did. So what does the quarterback throw? Okay. Now let's say they don't show. Let's say he stays out here and right before the snap, he kind of comes late and then goes hot. We got to pick the hot up throw. We got to be able to, the quarterback's got to understand these 3 inside goes as quick as possible and what's dangerous. Could they come from both sides and him not see it? Yes, they could. Yes, they could, but they would be giving up a lot by doing that. So they probably have to know the play or they'd be really getting lucky because so many other plays that wouldn't be wise. So if you did get pressure, it usually was from the inside guys that hurt us. We called off. They had somebody here. We kicked over. This guy came too. That was a problem. We didn't get much problem from the outside guys because there's enough. If they show, then a lineman swap easy. If they don't show and come from depth, then the quarterback usually had enough time to see it and make the hot throw. So this side, obviously, the hot throw's here, and this side, same thing, the hot throw's there. So if this guy's coming or that one, it's his responsibility to get open. And then the outside guys do the same thing, and they just might get the ball a little faster. So we try to put our quarterback in those situations as often as we could. Now, if they give us a 4-down look, it's usually going to be a 4-1. I mean, being in an empty look, we would rarely get a 4-2, but you could, I guess. But if they gave us a 4-1, same thing. These 5 got these 5. Hot. That's it. And we didn't get much issue with that. Could they get a 4-2 look and both of them be hot and still be able to bring that guy? Yeah, they could. But, that's 8 people. There's only 3 left. You'd be gambling. We should be able to hit it quick. And you just put your quarterback. We have a whole period of practice for blitzes out of empty where you just put them in some horrible spots and see if they can just find that outlet and get the ball out to them and make it work. Now, it can be more complicated than that, obviously, and there'll be some people critiquing that, and that's okay. But we played the percentage. The percentage was on empty sets, we were going to get very little pressures. Or if they were going to pressure us, they were bringing the house. And when they brought the house, we prepared for that. So, and it didn't help them on some of that jet and some of the quick game and some of the stuff like that. So, we tried to stay in that world and make this work. So we kind of tried to stay ahead of when we thought we could hit verticals. Verticals for us a lot of times wasn't a 3rd and 12 call. It was a 1st and 10 call. We're just kind of going to line up and make them defend the deep and then go from there. So, we just didn't have a lot of it, but yeah, anytime you're in 5 wides, you're going to get some pressure. So we did occasionally get sacked, but it wasn't near what you would think. Just by the alignment and being technically sound at the base pressures that you can see is the way you get sacked. And most of our sacks over the years did not come from pressure. It came from the 5-on-5 and one of them just getting their butt whooped. That's how most of the sacks occurred. It wasn't the scheme. It wasn't a lot of talk coaches did. It was just somebody got whipped on technique by somebody that was better than them. So that's a little bit about our hot series and how we pass pro'd it. Next time we're going to talk about how to do things out of different formations.